Someone recently asked me, why am I doing what I'm doing? And if I would answer because I like people, because I want to help people, because I feel like I'm on the mission, that answer would feel too vague. So this is why I'm recording this video for you, to help you get to know me and help you understand who I am and where I am coming from. My first light bulb when it came on, and when I realized actually something was wrong, is when I gave birth to my son. That was the moment when I realized I don't want my children to have the same childhood I had. I didn't want to give them what I had experienced. So that moment was the first moment when I realized maybe something in my childhood didn't actually work for me. And this is where my whole journey started. So that's nearly 16 years ago, when I realized I didn't have a great childhood. Only when I went to therapy and I started to tell my therapist what was happening and what was my experiences, she said to me that, Sylvia, you had childhood trauma. Everything what you're telling me is just trauma. And that moment I didn't take it. I didn't feel good enough to admit that childhood trauma happens to very special people, people who are strong. Something big must have happened. Like, all of what I talked about, that was my everyday life. How could that be trauma? So I didn't want to believe that. Number one, as I said, I didn't feel good enough, but then I didn't think that my experiences were childhood trauma because it was my norm. So how something that was my norm could be actually the childhood trauma? I didn't view trauma as something like that. Until I started to work on myself, I started to reveal loads of things, loads of emotions. There was time where I had to look at my inner child, and trust me, it took me a good few years to go back and to really sit with my inner child. I didn't like her. I was keep rejecting her. We were not friends. You know, for whole for all your life, something that you try to avoid, something that you were trying to run away from, something that you try to suppress, dismiss, hopefully forget one day. How could I sit with it and look into its eyes and say, hello, I see you, I love you, I'm sorry it happened to you? It didn't make sense at the time. So that's why it took me so long to actually sit with my inner child and actually do the work. I was terrified of even going there. I didn't want to remember. I was glad I was an adult. I was glad I was in charge. I was in control. No one was telling me what to do anymore. I was not dependent on anyone. And so going back to that very vulnerable place, absolutely it was terrifying for me. But I did it. I eventually did um, sit with my inner child, and if I'll be very honest, till this day, there was part of me I knew I had to do it so I could be a better psychotherapist for my own patients. I did it because I wanted to help my patients, and I know that if I can't go somewhere, this is the moment that will block me to help my own clients. And I didn't like that. I didn't want that. I didn't want put limitations on my own patients. That felt very unfair, at least. So how could I tell someone in front of me, let's heal your inner child, where in myself I felt like I couldn't? So a big component why I did the inner child work was for me to become a better therapist for all the people I work with. And did I not benefit from it? Of course I did, because I could not feel more safer, more happier, more content, more confident, and absolutely in love in myself. But I, I wouldn't be able to achieve that fully if I didn't work on my inner child. I had to accept my past. I had to connect with my inner child. I keep smiling because that little girl back then, she did all what she could. She was fighting. She was in survival mode. Every day was like a struggle. Did she ever give up? No, she didn't. And this is why I'm so grateful for her. And that led me to start doing the inner child work, the workshops, the programs, everything that I'm doing. It's based on my own fears as well. So for someone who wants to start the inner child work but doesn't know how to, wants to go to the childhood trauma and heal that trauma but doesn't know where to start, I understand you. I see you, and I know how hard it is to start this journey. It took me a good couple of years to actually go there. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. Second, second reason is I want to be a good mother to my children. And I know that children are learning through examples. You can tell your kids anything they want to hear or you want them to hear. You can tell them anything. Will they take this on? No. Because if your words are not congruent with your actions, they will be more looking at your actions. You can tell them. You can be anything that you want. You can achieve any of your dreams. You need to believe in yourself. You need to be confident. You need to, go for what you want. But if their parents don't do that, because the mother is shy, because the mother doesn't believe in herself, because the mother is lacking confidence and she is not chasing her dreams, how can they believe you that it's possible? So that's the other reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. To show my kids that not even the sky is the limit, that they can do and be whoever they want to be. To not give up on themselves, to keep going, keep trying, small steps, but going forward. If they have a dream and there may be, will I not, should I not, think that they could or could not do it, they can always refer back to their mother. Sure, but she did it. So maybe we will try. And I hope my kids will do that. The third reason why I'm doing what I'm doing is to help people expand their consciousness, heal the collective, heal people from their old paradigms, old limiting beliefs that they cannot do something, that the past is ruling who they are. Because of what have they experienced, now they can't do certain things. Because where they coming from, now they can't be who they deep down would love to be. I am walking evidence that it is possible. You can heal, you can change. Your past doesn't define you. You made many mistakes. I made many mistakes. Am I my mistakes? No. Are you your mistakes? No, you're not. And this is why I'm showing this by doing what I'm doing and not looking back. I am healing my past. I'm connecting with my past. At this moment, actually, I have no regrets. I don't ever regret whatever happened to me. I don't regret any of that. Because that helped me become the woman I am today. It helps me of a therapist I am today for my patients. It helps me to be this mother, this wife. So no, I don't regret anything, but because I have healed that part of myself, it helps me see and be happy and content. Helps me see world beyond my trauma, beyond my past. And this is what I want for people. I want people to feel that they're bigger than their traumas, they're bigger than their past, bigger than their mistakes, and yet, yes, you deserve to forgive yourself. Your mistakes is not something that you want to hold yourself accountable for the rest of your life. Your mistakes, if you made any, these are your life experiences, these are your life lessons. Take the lesson, learn from it, move on. And once again, I'm the walking evidence for that. If you want someone and a proof that healing childhood trauma is possible, I am the walking evidence that's possible. And just to give you a window of how bad my childhood was, I was diagnosed with level 8 of CPTSD. So I had complex trauma level 8, 8 out of 10. It's quite severe, but I'm not my diagnosis either. I'm not that. That's my history, that's my past, that's my part of my story. But that's not the end. My story doesn't end. This is the beginning. The end, I am in charge. I'm in charge how the end and how well my story ends. And this is what I wish for every single person that works with me. To overcome limiting beliefs, to overcome fears, to overcome any perceptions that are actually limiting you. You are both. Everything what I do is coming from my heart. Everything, any of my programs, any of my workshops, one-to-one sessions, everything I do, I'm 100% there. Whether and regardless of the prices of my programs, in every single one of them, there will be a huge value to you. Thank you very much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe my channel so you won't miss any of my other videos. And I see you.